It's not reading it.
How about now? How about now? Sound? Oh, that's not good. It's not. Oh, there it is. Are we good now? I found it. That worked. Okay. I don't know what happened there. We're plugged in. Everything was good. I don't know what happened. Little technical difficulties. This isn't off to a great start. We're 2 minutes late. We got some technical difficulties, but we're rocking and rolling now. It's been busy here, everyone. It's been quite busy. So, what's been going on in the last 48 hours? Are we ready to go? Everyone's got sound. We're good? Okay. Last 48 hours, what's changed? Not a whole lot. Spencer the Oracle is crushing it. The stuff is going up, and it's going up quick. I just see mountains of things getting listed. The other deal is finalized, but we haven't arranged shipping date or anything else. But I mean, she's not here, so I can say this, but the speed that she's going through this stuff, we want to keep this stuff coming in. So we're hoping to get that stuff up here soon. We don't really know. We don't really have a date, set yet, but it's just incredible how quickly this stuff is getting listed. What else? There's a little bit of insurance stuff yesterday too. Like, these are ongoing things that have to get done. So talking back and forth to adjusters and everything else, it's not the most thrilling thing in the world, but sometimes things that have to be done. If I kick the bucket soon or someday, I want to make sure that the people that are left behind can at least maintain their current lifestyle. And that's about all that's going on. It's kind of a same old day. We are listing, we are selling, we are listing, we are selling. We're having problems with labels this morning. There's an import issue with labels. That's like maybe a new thing that's going on, but nothing really magical or crazy happening different in the last 24 hours. So accounts, we have two of them: listeasier_records and listeasier_books. The books account is really moving crazy. Like, a lot of stuff is going up on the books account because that's what we're listing. We're listing books. We have 10,380 listings up. That's a milestone. We've crossed 10,000 listings. That was one of our mini goals. We are at $241,515.13. We are $8,500 away from $250,000 listed. That's another mini goal of ours. I think we'll probably hit it. It's going to be Monday or Tuesday. We'll probably hit it now. So that's exciting. We're looking forward to that. We're 46 days live. All this is incredible progress for 46 days. And our revenue is $12,822.15. Wow. This business is 46 days old. There's $250,000 worth of product listed and almost 13,000 in revenue. Got to remember, we still don't have our top rated seller status. We went through at least 20 days, maybe more, of verifications. So we had to verify the corporation and all the stakeholders with eBay. So we were having visibility holds based on that. So the fact that this is moving so crazy and so fast is incredible. Absolutely incredible. So very happy with the progress, happy with the way things are going on. I don't really have a topic of conversation today, per se. Inventory is at the top of mind. I think if you are running a business, you have A+ problems, you have B problems. A lot of times people don't work on the A+ problems because they're not fun. So they focus on B and C problems, and the B and C problems, those things don't need to get done because that's not where the bottleneck is. That's not the thing that will push the needle forward. So some people like organizing things before they list them, when really they just got to list them. Some people don't like taking photos, so they're doing everything to avoid taking the photos, but the photos is the A+ problem. So for me right now, I feel like the A+ problem is inventory, just because I see how fast production is. Now, the inventory we are getting is exceptional. And you'll know that if you look at listeasier_records, listeasier_books. If you're into records or you're into books, you'll see this stuff going up, and it's good stuff. We're happy with it. Now, I did get a message from John. I do want to kind of relay this to you. I'm not going to read what he wrote because it's private. This is John Flippin' Ain't Easy, but this is something that they're dealing with right now, and they have no way of communicating it to people. So if you follow Flippin' Ain't Easy or Bearded Picker, they've started other channels, but they have no way of communicating to their audience. So I know a lot of crossover audience members are here that know John, but basically what's going on there is they're in contact with Google, and Google is saying, we'll get back to you. We're working on it. We'll get back to you. But then they never hear anything back. So the latest thing is, I guess John's reached out to them and they've said, we've already responded to this issue. So we've taken care of it already. And, what's your problem? We've already taken care of it. But John still can't get into his account, which means Beard still can't get into his account. So they're hoping to get this. They're hoping to get this all resolved in the next short little while, but it is frustrating to lose your account and then not be able to communicate with someone on the other end, on the other side. So that's going on with those guys. One more order of business I wanted to bring up real quick. I got an email from a VA, that's a virtual assistant. So we do have virtual assistants using the software. So essentially you hire a VA and the VA is using List Easier and then giving you the listings back. So what's going on, and this is new, is that the VAs are having troubles now making the connection to eBay through the API because they use what is called a virtual private network. They use VPNs. So I got a message yesterday that they're in a panic, like they can't connect their VPNs to eBay. That has nothing to do with List Easier. Is that correct, Dave?
Yeah.
So the VPNs have nothing to do with us. If they've changed how VPNs interact with the eBay site, that has nothing to do with List Easier. So if you use a VA and they're saying we're not able to, we're kind of stalled out here, or we need a few more days or whatever, this is what's going on. Their VPNs are not connecting to the eBay site anymore. Maybe eBay made a change. Maybe something's changed, right? That's probably, I don't know. Who knows what's going on, but so anyway, got that email. I just kind of sent back, said, hey, the VPNs have nothing to do with us, but if you're using a VPN, I think maybe the chat knows a bit better. I think that they were frowning upon VPN use, virtual private networks. For those of you out there, that's where you hide your IP. I think eBay was moving away from that. I read something 6 or 7 months ago, I think. But anyway, so if you use a VPN to connect to eBay, the moral of the story here is be careful. Something's going on there. I don't know if it's temporary or if it's a permanent thing. And if you use virtual assistants and they're not getting your listings up, it's because they can't connect through our software right now to eBay. So I don't know what's going on there. So if you use a VPN, just know that that's going on in the Philippines right now. Okay, we're going to go past all the no sound stuff. And it's Flip It says, hello, John Worldwide Weber, Eric Gunta, JR Rodeffer, Bonnie Peeler, Mancore Products, Rob Special Interests, Pig on the Porch. Everyone's here. Good to see everybody here. Flip It Good says hello. Good to see you. We got sound. Greetings from South Dakota, says Mike's Seller. Good to see you. The 405 Picker, straight from Muskogee, Oklahoma, the USA. Oklahoma. Adam says, happy Thursday. Adam, I hope you're doing well today. Everyone, I got a message in the live chat. I couldn't respond to it in time yesterday, but if you could all put Wheels and Resin into your thoughts and prayers, I believe you've seen him in the chat before. He's undergoing chemotherapy and I believe has some related health issues. And there was a message at the bottom of the chat saying that things were not going well. So if you're listening to this, Wheels, rest up. We're all thinking about you. You're in our thoughts. You're in our prayers. I know that sounds cliche, but we are thinking of you. I was really disturbed to see that yesterday, and we wish the best for you. You're part of the family, so we're here all thinking about you. Bearded Picker says, Josh, I've determined it is your fault. I can't remember this. Schedule these out 2 minutes until 11. No, Josh, and I move on. And you didn't text me either. Check your text. I sent you tons of texts yesterday. What are you talking about? I buried you in text messages. John, I can't read all that right now. I can read it later. I can't read all that right now. John J. UK says, hey, Josh, you said yesterday that you only work 4 days. Do you ship 5 days a week or just 4 as well? Just 4. So we have a handling time that we put onto the account. We ship 4 days. Fridays are like a cleanup, get organized, work on the business, not in the business. It's usually when we have our minutes, our meetings, like, I don't know, it's like a stakeholder meeting, but really it's just Dave and I talking back and forth. There's a third guy that comes here and we kind of just bounce ideas off each other. But no, we work 4 days a week. Why work 5? Why work 7? We don't have to do that anymore. Look at the numbers. You know what I mean? You can do more. And I want to say, John, about the UK, there's a lot happening with the UK site in the back end. So we did sit down, we talked about your request for the motorcycle clothing. There's infrastructure work that has to happen on the back end. So that's working, that's happening in the background. So just know that UK has become a top priority. It's our colicky baby that we are spending all our time with. The US site is working very smooth right now. UK, we're tweaking in the back end. We're working on it. So have patience with categories. There's a reason why certain category trees don't integrate. Like, we're working on that. That will be coming soon. So that's the number one priority. Oh, Joe says, Josh, your favorite pass, I think that's Ebbitt's Pass, in the Sierras got 10 feet of snow in the last week. I think they close Ebbitt's Pass. That's the end of Highway 4, right, Joe? I think they close it in the winter, right? I can't imagine anybody driving that. No one's driving that in the winter. It's terrifying in the summer. Lag says hello, the robotic hello. Good to see you. Luke Coins, Charlie Goki says, hi, Josh. Are you getting any repeat buyers as of yet? We get multi-quantity buyers. We haven't really had any repeat buyers yet that I've noticed. We have mostly, you want to know what we get a lot of because the accounts are new? Other sellers who sell similar things as us, and they'll come on and they'll be like, I'm the expert in this field, and just so you know, and then they'll give us some sort of information about one of the items that we're selling, which I don't mind. It's fine. But that mostly people saying like, I've been doing this for 20 years. You look brand new. Just so you know, there's only, 50 pages in that book. We're like, okay, well, thank you for letting us know that. That's, good information. We get a lot of that stuff. Which is fine. But repeat buyers, not really yet. It's not really coming yet. Joe Ban, if you're watching, Joe Profit First Reseller, if you're watching, I just want to put it out there, man. I get it. I share your frustration. You know what I'm talking about. I think that the truth will always show itself after a while. It cannot be hidden forever. It cannot be hidden forever. And it will eventually show itself. So I hear you. I saw what you wrote there. Everything comes out in due time. I do believe that. Den Decor Depot says, good day, Josh. Yesterday was a good day on eBay. Income tax refunds are flowing. Getting it listed. I have so much tax stuff to do. The List Easier tax stuff is almost complete. I think it's like 3 or 4 reconciliations away. My own personal taxes, I don't even want to look at it. I will, but I don't enjoy the tax part of things anyway. So going through one and then having to do it a second time is like torture. I'm going to have to figure it out. I'll have to do it, but I'm probably going to put it off until the last 2 weeks. John J. UK says, Josh, remember the video you did over a year ago about nearly doing a $5 million buyout? Would you have done it now if List Easier was out? Okay, so you were talking about that big antique buy in Niagara. If List Easier was out, would I buy it? I think realistically, because all that stuff was so varied, I mean, there were motorcycles in that lot. There were antique cars. There's like all sorts of crazy stuff. I think it would have been too much. I think I would have bit off more than I could chew with that. It's just so much stuff. I would imagine it would take me months just to move it to where it had to go. Um, so I mean, if we had the team we had here now, yeah, we would totally do it. The other thing you got to remember too is there's here in Canada there are tariffs on items. Even made in USA items, certain items get tariffed going back into the United States. So when we buy, if we're buying a lot, we can be cognizant of that and be like, oh, you know what? This has like 80% tariffs on it. It's really not worth it for us to buy this kind of stuff. But when you get these big mixed lots, it's a little bit different. But certainly the profit is there or was there. The timing was wrong. It would work way better with List Easier. There are pieces in there worth tens of thousands of dollars easily, maybe more than that. So that's a good question. It's a lot of big stuff. I kind of like it organized like this. The big stuff is hard to organize, like a carved cowboy on a horse. The thing is massive. Like, how do you even sell that? You'd have to do it locally and wait for the buyer and all. So it takes up a lot of room. I don't know if I'm at that stage right now. I really like how seamless and process oriented everything is. The other thing is every buy here is like it goes through three partners. No one's buying and not really saying anything unless it's something we've already bought and performed well. So, I think that would be an instance where Super Dave and I would go and look at it and be like, no, dude, we can't store all. What are we going to do with all these motorcycles? How are we going to offload these things? So I'm not really sure. I don't know. That's a good question, John. You got me thinking about that one. I do like this better. This is less stress. It's way more organized. Good morning from Colorado, said it me, Jimothy. Good to see you. Missy B says, I hate going to an estate sale, not buying anything, and being late to the call. Laugh out loud. Well, Missy, don't worry. I was a couple minutes late too. I had a shipping deadline, so I'm also a little bit behind, but it's all good. Time to sell collectibles. At least you're here, right? Time to sell collectibles, says good afternoon from Maryland. Good afternoon. Wheels, we're all thinking of you. F Cancer, I agree. It's brutal. Andy Reno says, how's it going, Mr. Galton Chat? I'm here for the numbers. The numbers are live. We're 8,500 away, Andy, from $250,000. And that's in the first 46 days. My goal for the end of the year would be to hit 4 million in listed inventory. Is that possible? I don't know. It's going to be close. It will be close. It's possible. It's going to be close. I think that would be on track if we hit 4 in our first year. It's going to be close. Cindy, where Pigs Fly Farm, says, thanks to List Easier, I listed a couple hundred Harry Potter cards I've been holding for about 4 years. Card sales are going great. Love it. Cash it in. Doesn't make money sitting on a shelf, right? So that's good. Cash it in, Cindy. That's awesome. Mancore Product says, we ship 6 days a week. We think it gives a boost since we beat competitors on shipping. Shows it on the listing quality report, 7-figure seller. We may move to that eventually, but our whole thing right now is this is a lifestyle thing. We've done it, Mancore. We've done the grinding every single day, working 7 days a week. We've done it in our businesses, other businesses, and we don't want to. Like the trade-off here is enjoy life while we're young still. The business is still doing incredibly well. It is going to be doing incredibly well, but we just don't want those deadlines right now. It's just not where we're at. So we're in build mode. Eventually, when we can get Gaylord pickups of mail here, then we'll probably switch to every day. So if they're coming here and they're picking up, a whole Gaylord of mail and then emptying out or dropping off an empty one, perfect. We'll do it every single day. It doesn't matter. But for the amount of mail that's going out right now, we can't get the pickup set up. Remember, we're in Canada, so we have to do drop-offs. Drop-offs are about 45 minutes away, maybe more, depending on traffic. So we choose life. We choose life. And we'll ramp this thing up, the listed numbers up to 7 figures. We'll ramp revenue up, and then we'll take a look again, and we'll see if it works. John J UK says, thanks, Josh. Yeah, UK is glitchy, but I'm hanging in there. Yeah, it's the category trees are very different in the UK. The back end is different. The integrations are different, but it's something that will get resolved in short order. Rob's special interest says, what's going on with James saying 0 sales for 30 hours? I'm having very slow days. Who knows what they're up to? Who knows what they're up to? I had a flash thing of sales on my own personal account where I just got like 10 sales in 5 minutes. I have no idea what's going on. I am of the firm mindset now where you can't see behind the curtain on what's going on with eBay. Are they starting to integrate Depop already? I don't know. Are they bringing it onto the platform? Is it going to be a side thing on the eBay platform? Like, what's going on? I don't know. Are they updating things? I have no idea what's going on. All I can control is the number of listings we put into our account. That's it. Can't control the outcomes. Like, on our part, we are doing the best we can. We are buying the best inventory we can. We are staying consistent, working every single day. We're not burning out. We're enjoying our time with our families. We're staying organized. It's all that we can control. So honestly, if 10 things sell in 5 minutes and we get 30-hour droughts, like, we know the deal now. Why is it happening? Who's to blame? I have no idea. If you have 18,000 items or 75,000 or 100,000 items and you go without sales for 30 hours, I have no idea why that happens, honestly. Who knows? Eric Bressy says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you. Charlie Lou says, that is good that you're getting expert advice. Exactly, Lou. Exactly. Ren Resale says, tax easier 2027. I know. I've been using Xero, the accounting software, and then WagePoint for the payroll. It's been pretty simple, honestly. It hasn't been too difficult. It definitely beats Excel, where there's a lot of redundancy of manual entry. So I prefer to do it this way, but I still don't love it because it's a lot of digging and, it's just things I'd rather be doing, but it has to be done. So it is what it is. Time to Sell Collectibles says, my CPA retired last year, had a chat with a prospect yesterday, wanted an $8,000 retainer. I am still looking. I have found, Time to Sell Collectibles, that with accountants, they want you to do all the bookkeeping anyway. So you're just handing over books and you really only need them at like tax time or, at the end of the month, they can reconcile for you. But honestly, if you're doing the books, you might as well just reconcile it yourself. The software is good enough. So that's kind of where I'm at. Maybe once we scale, it will change a bit. Just Beth says sales are dead. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? We just keep going. Keep going. I'm stealing from tech because I can't think of a better way to say this, but you are not in business for a day. We think in months, weeks, years, even decades. So for us, it's this. $241,000. 10,380 listings. You just can't control it. I think we are putting incredible product up. It sells when it sells. What else can we do? I don't know what's going on the back end of things. Maybe everybody's on vacation, maybe everybody slept in. I don't know. I'm just joking, but who knows? But we got to just keep going. Yeah, eBay is being eBay. It is what it is. Shortcoin says, good morning, Josh. So we're at the bottom of the chat. Do you guys want to talk about the Depop thing? What do you all think about that? I don't know much about it. I am not an expert in mergers and acquisitions, but it does on the surface look like Etsy acquired Depop for 1.6 billion and now eBay's bought the asset off them for 1.2. And I don't know if what kind of debt or convertible notes are attached to that, but it I don't know, it doesn't look like it looks to me like what eBay's doing is consolidating their market. So while everyone else is kind of in this position where they need to raise money in a high interest rate environment, eBay's out there buying. So if you're gonna buy, now's the time. And we're buying too. We're buying too. Yeah, eBay did buy Depop for $1.6 billion. So this is consolidation in my opinion. It's merger and acquisition. I don't use Depop. I do believe that there is a crowd that uses it. I think it's more popular in the UK, and I don't know if that's part of the deal. So I don't want to wade into this water because I don't know much about it, but it does look like they acquired the asset for a lot cheaper than what Etsy purchased it for. Pig on the Porch says, one day give your info to ChatGPT, have them spit out your tax returns. Never. I don't want to do that. I don't think it's a good idea. I think that I don't want to give them too much personal information on ChatGPT, to be honest with you. I want to be careful about that. I would like to think that at least some amount of information is on-prem. The thing is, that's a lot of information to be giving the LLMs, to be giving Sam Altman. I don't know. It's a lot of proprietary info. It's being stored somewhere. I'm sure of it. Wheels and Resin says closed eBay for now, in the hospital, so I am missing the eBay drama. We're thinking about you, Wheels. I hope you're doing well and you're resting well. I saw your message yesterday, but it wouldn't let me respond to it. So we're all thinking about you. Please, rest up and look after yourself. I mean, you're doing the best you can, but at the very least, join us just to get your mind off what's going on right now. Like says, QuickBooks has gotten much better over the last couple of years with AI. I agree. I hated QuickBooks and it has gotten better. Automate everything and just give your account user access for the accountants. I've found a lot of mistakes though, even. So I've had to go back through because it's auto categorizing certain transactions as like groceries. So what's going to happen is we're going to send that to the accountant and the accountant's going to say, you can't write off your groceries. You can't use your business account to buy groceries. So it'll be, it'll say something very clear like shipping supplies and the shipping supply company or whatever. And then it will say that it's auto categorized as groceries. So still have to check a little bit. Rin Resale says the Depop thing makes sense in my uneducated opinion. They've been losing the younger generation, so they went out and bought them. That could be it. They could be hunting for a younger user. They've really leaned into promos with, I don't know, celebrities, I want to call them. So I saw they were doing something with Jerry Rice, Renee Najota. He's always been there. Pete Davidson, I think his name is. There are a bunch, Backstreet Boys were there at eBay Open, but I'm starting to see them lean more into that. And I think they will get it right eventually. And maybe they're marrying that with Depop. I don't know. So I don't know much about it either, but when eBay does M&A, they're, there's huge teams of consultants making these decisions, and they are looking 10, 20 years in the future to see what their return on this investment will be. So Mike Seller says, thinking about you, Wheels and Resin, get well soon. Just 1.6 billion. I know, it's big money, Devon. Big money. Devon says that younger clients are on Posh. I think there's definitely the young professional and even female is the ICP for Poshmark. So that's I think it's ideal customer profile for the Poshmark sort of audience is the young professional looking for curated items. unfortunately for Poshmark, they're getting flooded with things like postcards and all this other stuff that I don't think they want, which is why I think they're pushing back a little bit on that kind of stuff. But I think that is their ideal customer profile. They want chic, young, uh, professional. ChatGPT is my accountant. I use ChatGPT for a lot of strategic discussions. Well, I know I do. I speak to it every single day to get bounce ideas off of what's the best course of action, this and that. But stuff like my anything emotional, I don't ask it. It's a computer. It has no emotions. I don't give it too much personal information besides what it already has. So it's not going to find out my social security number. I don't want it to know my taxes. But I do use it for, discussions back and forth to make sure that when I'm making critical decisions, that I'm making the right decisions. So yesterday I was asking it about insurance. Like, to me, it feels overwhelming. Every time we have these discussions about insurance, I feel like it's a fire hose of acronyms and stuff that I don't understand. So if I don't understand it well enough to explain it to someone else, or it feels like the goalposts are constantly shifting, I don't want that. So I kind of defer back to it and be like, well, what is all this stuff? And ChatGPT is giving me good advice. Basically, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Don't get involved in all this crazy, wacky nonsense that, high level stuff. Just get basic insurance and move on. That I should have, and I don't. Mancor says eBay stock is up 5% today, so the market thinks it's a good buy too. Yeah, it's I don't know what Depop's revenues are. I don't know, I don't know much about it, honestly, but I don't know what assets come with Depop. I don't know what this looks like for Etsy. So is Etsy going to take this money and pay off a bunch of debt? I really don't know what's going on here. I'm not smart enough to know. I'm not in the deal, but eBay has done this historically in the past where they do it either to consolidate their market, like they're the king, or they do it defensively or a combination of the two. But I am sure that this is going to work out for them. It always seems to. Depop is tiny in the UK. Vinted is massive. I got the two confused. Thank you, John. Same size as eBay here. Okay, Depop is not big in the UK. I got it mixed up with Vinted. Thank you, John. Time to Sell Collectibles says, I need a certified tax planner to avoid real estate capital gains and need to convert traditional retirement accounts to Roth to avoid higher tax brackets in 6 years. Yeah, there's a lot you can do. Time to Sell Collectibles. I do recommend that if you're in that position, talk to maybe a tax planner. It's important, but even a wealth advisor, and I don't mean the ones at your bank, but I mean like a private wealth advisor or a family office, because there are things you can do to avoid a lot of the higher tax stuff. So you can put assets in holding companies. It's why there are all these holding companies out of Delaware, but you can put assets in a holding company. And then as those assets accrue, you pay yourself a dividend, which puts you in the 15% bracket. Like, there's all these things you can do, but I would definitely, if you have the assets where this is now becoming a problem, I would definitely recommend doing it. It can feel overwhelming when you get started. Trust me, I've been through it, but you will save more than what it costs you. You will save a lot more than what it will cost you. So, Lag says, I missed ChatGPT 4. It was better. I think it was better. Wheels and Resin says, thank you for the support. No doing, poor me. I have a low immune system and picked up RSV. Is that some sort of rhinovirus? What is RSV? Forget. And 2 era to fight off my numbers have tanked. Just hang in there. Hang in there. I hope you're doing well. It's not a poor me thing, but you're a friend, Wheels. You're one of us. We talk every single day. We're thinking about you. So just look after yourself. Look after yourself. Rest. And then come here and take your mind off things a little bit. Jen says, hello, Josh. I hope you are well. I am well, thank you. I'm doing well. Yeah, what's $1.5 billion nowadays, says Lag. That's eBay's sofa change. It's what I think there. I don't want to get into the numbers because I forget it all, but yeah, eBay is, I'll say this about eBay. eBay is profitable every single year. It's really profitable. There are many platforms out there, e-commerce platforms, that are not profitable. They survive based on going back to the market and taking on more debt. So they're borrowing money and it keeps them going. And that borrowing gives them a higher valuation so that they can borrow more money at a later date. But eventually the bill comes due. eBay doesn't have to do any of that. They have the cash. They have more, like an ample amount of cash. So just financially, that puts them in a situation where they are the king of the market. Amazon the same. Jen says, hopefully eBay gets more customers. Jen, I think this is an important point, and this is something that we really leaned into. There is a trend where a lot of sales are now happening off of eBay. So these are customers coming from ChatGPT, Gemini, Google, and they're making eBay purchases. And the essential thing is to make sure that your items are getting ranked high off-site. So we leaned into that. List Easier was built to rank items high off-site. This will lead to more sales with, guest checkouts. So I don't know that, it's very, there's a bigger shift happening. So sales now are happening on Google and Gemini and ChatGPT and all these other things. That seems to be the direction things are going. So if eBay is pulling people on site, of course, they always have to do that. They have to be out there and aware, but there's a bigger shift happening. So I think the better thing to do is, if the environment is switching, let's capture those offsite sales. Like, if more items are selling because you're visible offsite, let's capture that. Rather than being, hey, eBay needs to take those offsite sales and bring them on site. Because maybe that's not the environment that we're going into. Maybe being having your items ranked top in Google search is actually a really amazing thing, because eBay has the infrastructure for that. That's their ecosystem. They allow for that. It's just that no one up until this point has optimized for that to happen, except for Abe Books. They're the only other ones I see that are really optimizing listings so that they're highly visible in Google. Etsy does it a little bit. Abe Books definitely does it. They figured it out. We figured it out now too. So if eBay has the ecosystem that we can take your listings, give them a super high rank on Google, you can get you don't even know. You don't know where these people are coming from, but you're getting the sales through Google. Maybe that's how the environment is now. Maybe that's how we have to operate. Lag says, I don't know anything about Delaware holding companies. Why? What did you hear? I think Delaware is losing its flavor. I think it's more Nevada and the Caymans now. More is happening in the Caymans now. Mancor Products says they had about $6 billion free cash at the end of 2024. So $1.2 billion is a significant amount of their savings. They won't be able to buy a bunch of these companies. Yeah, $6 billion free cash at the end of 2024. I wonder how much they had after 2025 with the promoted listings. But, it's just the fact that they cash flow positive every single year. And you have to deploy cash. So, having too much cash on the books is almost, it's almost not to their benefit. Cash is a unit of account. If they deploy it correctly, it will generate more over time. eBay doesn't want to be a savings company, right? They're a tech company. They're evolving. They're moving forward. We've seen a few purchases that they've made. I mean, they haven't disclosed all the purchases that they've made, but there are some of them. I forget what the most recent one was, but I bet you that was a $1 billion purchase as well. So they're active. Everyone's thinking of Wheels. Lag is sending hearts and love to Wheels. Rin Resale says, Wheels, we are always harder on ourselves than others. You wouldn't give someone else a hard time in your spot for lower numbers. Yeah, try to remember to treat yourself the same way. Exactly, Rin. Exactly. Very well said. I would heart that if I could. But it says, I can either remove it or put you in timeout, and I will do neither of those things. And to flip it, says eBay is profitable, but they are still losing market share. In 2018, they had 180 million active users. 8 years later, it was 130 million active users. Don't just be careful counting them out, because if you look at the books on many e-commerce platforms, they are bleeding cash like crazy, and they are totally dependent on debt. That's not eBay. eBay is not dependent on debt. I'm sure eBay has debt, but they're profitable. And honestly, again, if a lot of sales are happening off-site, you can do a guest checkout. Maybe it doesn't matter as much anymore. So eBay's still a big dog. They're still a very big dog. They are not by any means hurting. And for a lot of it too, there's been a lot of changes with AI, and now the push towards optimization. Things have changed. We got to change with it. Lag says I do about 95% of my online purchases through AI at this point. I remember James saying that he would look for something on eBay. He couldn't find it. He would look for it on Google, and then Google would send him to the eBay link, and then he would buy that item. So, if we do it ourselves, our buyers are doing it as well. And I always see guest checkouts on my stuff, these long strings of characters behind usernames. Like, no one in their right mind, unless they're a sociopath or a psychopath, is going to make their name James X and then a string of numbers that looks like a Bitcoin key. No one's going to do that in their right mind, because it's impossible to remember. Those are guest checkouts. Those are randomly generated names. So lots of people doing it, for sure. I want to catch those sales. Is Abe Books owned by Amazon? It could be. It could be. Is it? Yeah. Abe Books is owned by Amazon. So that's why they have it figured out. So there you go. That makes sense. Abe Books is owned by Amazon. They've got it figured out. They know how to juice it on Google. They know how to optimize their listings. And I know now that Amazon will also create that ecosystem for optimization on Google, because they want those sales. Abe Books does a ton of sales. eBay has the ecosystem as well. The problem with eBay is they rely on their users to optimize those listings, and they don't. Wheels, don't be so hard on yourself. Wheels wants to get back to work. Go USA Women's Hockey. Sorry, Josh. Oh, is that on right now?
Soon.
It's on soon? I kind of hope we beat you. I know it's not looking good for women's hockey. I've been told, I'm not an expert on the women's hockey, but I've been told it's not looking good. But I kind of hope we win in both men's and women's. I think we stand a better chance in men's. I don't know. I'm repeating what other people have said to me. And like this, and this is also true, Amazon is also doing well because of AWS. Their online shopping platform is not that profitable, like 4%. I've even heard 3% domestic, and normally loses money internationally. 100%. Their switch to AWS is their big money maker. So they can operate with razor thin margins. Whereas, eBay has to be profitable. They don't have an AWS themselves. Or if they do, it's not nearly as developed as what Amazon's is. 100%. Their server is a huge, huge part of it. 100%. And Amazon's still going. I mean, they're exploring space with Blue Origin. Like, they're going in every direction. kind of like Tesla. That's what these new super companies seem to be doing. Would any of you get on the eBay spaceship if they decided to start exploring the cosmos? Rin says, I respect the grind wheels. Once you beat this, you'll be hungrier and have a perspective to overcome obstacles in a way not many understand. I agree. Yeah, AWS's cloud is very profitable, 100%. In comparison, eBay is doing very well, so this is also important. So apples to apples, what Lag is saying, and this is really important, that if you just compared Amazon's e-commerce side and eBay's e-commerce side as a marketplace, as a platform, dollar for dollar, eBay's outperforming. It's the AWS that really puts them over the bar. Definitely that is true. 100% agree. James says nothing wrong with being late. At least I know I'm not pregnant. Are you sure about that, James? Yeah, I know, Jen. Women have only allowed 1 goal in 5 games. They're very strong. I know. USA Women's is very strong. It's not looking good, but they do look good. The eBay spaceship would glitch out. Rob Special Interest says, hit the like button. I hit the like button and I got 2 sales. I don't want to say hit the like button and you'll get a sale, because that's like ripping it off of 2 or 3 other people who say that. I think that was originally John's thing. So I feel like I would be copying him if I started doing that. What else we got? We don't have a whole lot else going on. I kind of really love the inventory. As Spencer is going through it, I'm going through some boxes, and I just like it. I find it interesting. I find it super cool. It's mostly vintage and antique, and there are some gems in there. We found some really cool pieces. So it's always nice when you buy bulk and you find like 10 pieces that will pay for the whole thing. And then it's like, okay, the other 15,000, that's already been paid for by the first 10 pieces. Gotta love it when that happens. Adam says, gotta run. My employee just popped in. May I email later, Josh? List easier questions. Email me. Yeah. Josh@listeasier.com. You can email me and I will get back to you ASAP. Oh, we have a visitor? Okay. Okay, everyone. I gotta run. We got a visitor. Take care and